Friendo Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw News Brief. More importantly, it's Friendo Fest 2 day, Larson. That's right, coming up at noon Pacific. You guys might be watching this after it's already happened.
Or while it's on.
Or while it's on.
Watch this while it's on. Come join us.
Go to the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We got a lot of fun activities planned. Our plans are very loose, though.
I mean, I would. A lot of what we do is really a house of cards, honestly. You know, so much of what we do, we have these grand ideas. It's all kind of duct taped together.
Right.
You know, at any point, it could all just fall apart.
Wouldn't be us if we had something really, really well planned out. So, look, man, we've got Zoom. We've got Streamlabs, OBS. We've got some Matt Chatters that are ready to go live. We got a couple of Matt Chat videos that we're going to run. We're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about the upcoming Larson 2 Suite Tour. We might play some Uno. We're going to put the Nxt Championship up on the line.
Yep.
It's a smattering of stuff. But anyways.
Yeah. Anyways.
So join us for that at twitch.tv/Stephen Larson, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Let's get into the news. What's going on?
All right. What's going on?
My brain is all over the place right now.
Well, it's going to be a busy day for us. I understand that, Steve. Let's kick things off with our first story here. So Nxt Talent Aj Francis tweeted yesterday. I don't remember exactly. I suppose I can look at the tweet and get the time because they timestamp these tweets. Yeah.
Yes, they do. They do.
Says here 19 hours ago.
You read the stuff.
2:55 in the PM yesterday. So he tweeted out the following quote: "While somebody out here snitching to these dirt sheets about everything, somebody needs to snitch that Triple H came and told us all that if we today, tomorrow, or ever want to talk to him about our feelings on Black Lives Matter, he wants to have that conversation." And then AJ continued in a subsequent tweet, "And he don't have to do that, and he still made sure we knew that we could. That's an ally." Fightful Select, go subscribe, has some additional details, adding, quote, "Triple H did note that he was willing to have conversations with talent. We're told that he mentioned that this was an important time in the world and he was proud of his talent for standing up. Triple H was said to have been emotional and said he wants everyone to matter at WWE and NXT regardless of race, religion, orientation, language, and culture, and he wants their talent to set an example for the rest of the world."
That's cool. That's neat. Good for him. I always get the feeling that Triple H is like the one, how do I put this, non-carny of the bunch. I get that feeling, man. Everything we've always heard from other members of the clique, non-clique members, Triple H is a straight-laced guy, doesn't drink, he's got a good head on his shoulders. Obviously, he's developed into quite the businessman. And even when you hear stuff about like backstage, like when Vince is doing, like Triple H consoling previous NXT stars, saying, "Hey man, things are gonna change." I just get the feeling this guy is like, man, we have to move into the future and shed the reputation that we might have had.
I think as well, Vince tends to treat his wrestlers like commodities.
Yes.
And I feel like Triple H has a heart and treats them as people.
Yeah,
you know?
I get that feeling.
And we said before, it seemed like Vince, it seemed to be in this Undertaker documentary that Vince and Mark Calloway have some sort of relationship that goes beyond the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
And we heard Brody Lee say, you could talk to Vince for hours like he's a normal person. And maybe some aspect of Vince, there is some humanity there. But when it comes to dealing with his business, he seemingly compartmentalizes that aspect of it from whatever personal relationships he may have. And I don't feel like that's the case with Triple H. He seems to relate to these wrestlers as people.
Yeah.
And far more than Vince seemingly ever has. For him to have this conversation in NXT, WWE has made great efforts to come off as apolitical.
Yeah.
That's kind of their stated goal, seemingly. I don't really feel like they've been terribly successful at achieving that goal.
They are so awkward with their messaging
Yes.
on so much. Like
Yes.
when Stephanie McMahon like retweeted, and I think that there's the attempt to be like normal, but like she retweeted Titus O'Neil's speech on the BLM stuff, and it just came off as even the tweet seemed awkward because she's like, about having uncomfortable conversations, but she never actually says the word like on racism. It's just she sort of tweets it out there. It's just that they have a very clumsy messaging system over there.
Seemingly. So, we saw last night at TakeOver, Keith Lee, his ring gear, both his vest and his trunks had Black Lives Matter on them. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's great that NXT is telling their talent, hey, go out there, speak your mind, use your platform.
Yeah.
To create hopefully some real positive change in this country and around the world. So hopefully they follow through on that. NXT does and allows all their talent to use their platform to advocate for causes that are important to them.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Man, when you look at you can see all the Performance Center recruits out there in the crowd these days. There is a lot of diversity out there in the crowd. It bodes well for the future of the WWE. Yeah. Speaking of the future of the WWE, friendo of the show, Kristen Ashley. I forget exactly how many things Kristen has that she's juggling right now. According to her Twitter profile, she's an editor / social media person at Wrestling Inc. She does communications for Pro Wrestling Eve, which I didn't know. That's rad. I love Pro Wrestling Eve, man. They're great. And of course, she owns Bell to Bells. But she tweeted out, and she specifies this is not to be taken officially, but she's heard some rumblings. So it could mean any number of things. It could be true, it could be not true, but sometimes rumblings mean like this could be something. She has some info on what might be next for Rhea Ripley after, of course, taking the pin in the main event of TakeOver in Your House. She tweeted this out. Not an official report, but some interesting murmurs. I was told there were some rumblings going on about Rhea's standing in
company.
In the company. Plans change is true in a lot of ways, they say. Also said three-way matches are very telling, and the ending can say a lot about their standing. Again, rumblings are not confirmed. I was told Io was set to move up to SmackDown, but when Becky left Raw, they decided they needed someone there, and Rhea might have taken the pin because she'll be the one to leave for Raw. Not double confirmed, but it totally makes sense. Now, on his now customary post-TakeOver conference call, Triple H, he offered up some like vague and actually pretty interesting that he was diving and it's not deep at all, but as deep as I've ever heard anybody in his position go into the storytelling and the planning aspect of what they have planned for the participants in that match. These transcripts are from Talk Sport. He was asked about the finish of the match, specifically why Charlotte didn't take the pin. And he said this. He said, this was done for a very specific reason, for storyline purposes. And hopefully, if we get to tell the story we want to over the coming months, I think 3 to 4 months from now, you'll say, I know exactly why they did the finish that they did. And of course, I've seen multiple possible explanations of this on Twitter from all sorts of people. Larson, we can speculate all day. Let's do that.
All right, that's kind of what we do. Let's assume that Kristen's report here is accurate.
Okay.
Right? Not report.
Whoa. She said very clearly it's not a report.
Not an official report. So
let's say these rumblings come to fruition.
Yes, thank you. Rhea is going to Raw.
Yeah.
Who else is on Raw? Charlotte Flair. What's going to happen in 3 to 4 months? Maybe SummerSlam.
Is Charlotte still officially a Raw competitor?
She's listed as a Raw competitor on Wikipedia, so that's good enough for me.
Okay, good. Fair enough.
She was an official Raw competitor before she won the NXT Championship. When she's not, granted, she's been on like every show of late, but when she's not on NXT, usually week in and week out, she's been on Raw. Mm-hmm. So I think while she was NXT Women's Champion, I guess the idea was that she was moonlighting between both shows and not strictly beholden to one particular brand.
Right.
Anyways, so if the idea is that SummerSlam might be postponed a bit so they can wait and have the show with fans, they could continue the story that they've been developing between Rhea and Charlotte on the main roster if she gets called up. I would think the most, from a storyline perspective, the most sensible outcome is to have a measure of symmetry from what happened to WrestleMania this past year, where Charlotte won, is where Rhea finally gets the upper hand on Charlotte at WrestleMania next year, perhaps for the Raw Women's title.
Mm-hmm. But
that all remains to be seen.
But then let's talk about 3 to 4 months though.
That mean 3 to 4 months. That's the timeline for potentially a next takeover.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, but I mean, a takeover. If Charlotte's gonna go back to Raw,
yeah. If
Rhea's gonna go back to Raw, takeover, if I'm not mistaken, is an NXT event.
That's correct. That's why if there's any truth to the rumors and rumblings that Kristen is talking about here, if this story is going to play out further, specifically between Charlotte and Rhea, it's going to have to be the main roster. One thing that's telling here about Triple H says is this was done for a very specific reason, for storyline purposes, and hopefully we get to tell the story we want to over the next few months.
This speculation is clearly just on what Triple H wants to do. There's no way to tell. It'll almost certainly. It's
Here's
like
the thing: if it was a story,
railroaded.
If it was a story he was planning on telling NXT, I don't know. I mean, granted, there's always variables. People can get hurt. People can get called up, without his him green lighting the call up. That seemingly happens all the time. But I would think that if he was in a position where he had a story he wanted to tell NXT and he was confident that none of the talents involved would be called up, he wouldn't have that caveat of hopefully we get to tell the story we want to tell over the coming months.
How about this? This is what I got.
What?
So 3 to 4 months from now is probably, like you said, I don't know how deep into the fall they can call something SummerSlam.
Well, I mean, technically the first day of fall is September 20th or something like that.
Okay, so let's say September 19th they put on SummerSlam. Yeah. They can have fans in some freaking state that's totally cool, packing 20,000 people into
Florida.
Florida, exactly, down the road. So at SummerSlam, we get that Mania rematch. Rhea versus Charlotte. So that's 3 to 4 months from now. We get Rhea versus Charlotte, okay?
Yeah.
Rhea wins, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, in April, 6 months after that, you've got WrestleMania. Now, what do we know about Rhea Ripley? People love her. She's huge. She's basically can't miss. She can't miss. She is foolproof, man. She's foolproof. She is. So you got Rhea, foolproof, replacing Becky as number one face, especially after she beats Charlotte clean at SummerSlam. So then we're still not going to have Becky by Mania because she's a mom. So Ronda versus Rhea at WrestleMania come April. That's how it's going to go down.
There you go.
That's the story he wants to tell.
That's some serious prognostication there.
I just did it. Anyways, they can spell. I forgot who it was. I saw Alex McCarthy. I saw Tom Colley. They're all fantasy booking this thing. They're like, well, 3 or 4 months now, Survivor Series, and I'm checking their math on that, and I'm like, I know the American public system is probably nowhere near as good as the British public system, but I don't think 3 or 4 months from now, Survivor Series. Anyways, I'm just talking shit. Let's talk about this Velveteen Dream. Another potential. You and I thought, hey, he lost to Adam Cole last night. He might be going to main roster. Larson, is he going to main roster?
If Wrestle Talk is to be believed, no. They're reporting that while Velveteen Dream's name was discussed as potential call-up, we had heard that previously as well, both him and Io Shirai, he will, quote, almost certainly stay in NXT. Wrestle Talk received no word on why WWE officials had a change of heart about calling up Velveteen Dream, but it makes one wonder what his role is going to be in NXT now. He's just lost 2 title matches to Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. He's gotten to the point where he feels like there's not much else for him to do in NXT.
Yeah.
So if not being called up how are they going to best utilize his talents in NXT to continue his growth, because he's still really young.
A squash match against Killer Cross, number 1.
All right.
We can power rank this right now. Squash match is number 1.
All right.
Let's see here. Number 2, a program versus he goes back to being a bad guy, and he takes on Keith Lee. Keith Lee completely squashes him the way he squashed Gargano. So there's 2 squash matches.
One in his wait. Did you say he would squash Karrion Kross
Karrion Kross would squash him.
Oh, so you're just saying that Dream's gonna be doing a lot of jobs?
Yeah, right. Totally.
But not get called up.
No.
It's an interesting career path.
Squash City. He's gonna be a bad guy, so it's okay.
No.
And then who else? Number 3? I don't know. Forms a tag team with Dexter Lumis.
There you go. That's your actually first reasonable idea.
You don't think they would squash him against Karrion Kross?
They might, but I think it's more likely that we get some sort of tag team with him and Lumis.
Yeah, maybe they'll at least have a match. They'll at least have a tag team match. I don't know if they'll be a team.
Yeah,
but they'll tag together. So yeah, that's interesting. Hey, you know what? Better he stay in NXT than them bring him up and have no idea what to do with him. That's for certain.
Yeah, that we can agree on.
Another thing I think we can agree on is that the WWE Championship titles, some of them are not the prettiest in the world, and they might actually be getting redesigned. Wrestling Inc. is reporting that, quote, WWE is reportedly working on new belt. Man, we've heard this so many times.
Especially about one of the titles mentioned here.
Reportedly working on new belt designs for some of their titles. WWE is working on revamping, the NXT Championship. The new look has the same design but is bigger in size. What the flip? Why do we need that? Looks fine. It's big enough. I know why. Because it's fine now for Adam Cole. Put that on Keith Lee. It needs to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Then the WWE US Championship is also getting a redesign.
You've been hearing that for months, if not years.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Then we're getting a new U.S. title. And no, it's going to look exactly like the Intercontinental title, but just with some red, white, and blue on there somewhere. Otherwise, it's going to look the exact same.
What if they did the exact same plate, but just had like some of the just plating
tape over Intercontinental with the United States Championship?
Exactly. We got a Raw preview because there's a long Raw tonight.
This is the most extensive preview we've had in a very long time, too.
Yeah, there's 6 bullet points here? My God.
They're basically telling us the entire show. First bullet point here, Edge to join Christian!
Oh, that'll be fun.
For the Peep Show.
Also, Bayley and Sasha Banks set to appear on Raw, fresh off women's tag title victory. Is that the women's tag title is like cross-brand in it?
It is, yeah. So the Iconics have already said they want those tag titles back. So we'll get some. That should be fun if we get some interaction between Bayley and Sasha and the Iconics. That'll be great.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Next, will Rey Mysterio retire? No.
Here we go. This is it. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders set for a decathlon in the latest chapter of competition. Decathlon, is that where you do 10 things?
10 events, yeah.
Okay, so you got running, swimming, biking. I'm done. I don't know what else.
Yeah, in the Olympics, it's like pole vaulting. It's all the track and field events.
Oh my God, really? You do javelin? Do you do javelin?
I think so. There's no swimming. It's
no swimming.
It's either 100, 400 meter. If it's the Olympic decathlon, no. It's either running. It's either 100 or 400 meter.
Okay.
Long jump, pole vaulting, javelin. I think shot put. All the track and field events.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. Is there going to be like a relay? Because there's 2
No, there's not a relay. Well, I mean, in the Olympic
decathlon,
there's not a relay. No. But if they're doing it as teams, then maybe. I don't know.
Decathlon events. We're going to look this up real quick.
There you go. So we know for sure.
Here we go. Wow, there's perfect. The easy answer. What are the 10 events?
Maybe it's the 400 meter in the 600.
Run. Okay, here we go. Pole vault, high jump, long jump, javelin, shot put, discus, 110 meter hurdles, 100 meter dash, 400 meter run,
and
a 1500 meter run.
So a mile.
Yeah,
roughly.
The bowling's more fun than that. I tell you what. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's it for
well, we got 2 more, man. Bob Lashley
heads to
Bobby Lashley heads to the VIP lounge to reveal what happened after last week's Raw, and then Raw Women's Champion Asuka welcomes rematch with Charlotte Flair.
Oh dear, that's not a title match, is it? Are they going to
I don't believe so.
Are they going to give that title immediately to Charlotte? They better not. They're not going to do that.
I hope not.
God, I hope they don't do that.
I hope not.
Anyways, so yeah, that'll be a Raw. So yeah, there you go. We're gonna do our mailbag on Wednesday's audio show. So we'll put out a call for questions. We usually do that on Monday. We're gonna do it on Wednesday because of Friendo Fest is like eating up our entire day. So in a good way. I'm not complaining. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Where's that Patreon button? There it is. Okay, there we go.